People respond to this work in all sorts of different ways. Most people are really drawn to it because the objects are incredibly beautiful. When they realise what it is, they're slightly repelled by it.
The number of people who are HIV positive is
The
predicted.
Ebola epidemic threatens the very survival of society.
I don't think there's anything wrong with presenting viruses as these very beautiful objects, because actually that's how they look. I'm just being truthful to nature. The idea came from looking in newspapers, actually, of images of viruses. And I found out quite quickly that viruses don't have any colour. They're actually smaller than the wavelength of light. So scientists often add colours to that imagery to highlight particular areas, but also to add sort of emotional impact. And so I started creating this body of work to reflect my understanding of viruses as these invisible, colourless objects. The artworks end up in museums around the world. This is a glass sculpture of HIV. This is papilloma. So this is avian flu. We're suffering from swine flu whilst designing a work very similar to this. That was very strange, knowing that that virus was sort of in my body at the same time. Right now I'm going to make a diagram to illustrate the HIV sculpture that we're going to make. This isn't the first time I've created this sculpture. Gradually I'm having to adapt and change my model to keep up with scientific understanding. So now we've finished the drawings, I can go and see Brian and Norman to make the artwork with them. So now we're off to Sunderland. Brian and Norman have been making this work and working with me for over 10 years, and they've got a whole lifetime of experience behind them, so I think we're in safe hands.
He just phoned us up out of the blue and asked us if we would make some glass virus sculptures, which, you know, glass virus sculptures, what's those? So the first thing we need to do is pull what we call a point on the edge of this tube.
There's a sense of magic, isn't there, I think, with glass. We create all the interior RNA or the DNA that's going inside the virus, and all that will be made first.
And then I put some of these little spots on, just freehand. And then we sandblast it.
This is the crucial part, yes. If it's not done right, it will fall to bits and you've got to start again. It's got to be as though the inner glass has flowed into the outer. That's what you would call an internal seal. There you are. That's the finished object to the next stage. A little bit gas first.
For me, this is the most exciting part of the process because we're going to get the DNA of the artwork and it's going to be sealed into the glass sphere.
Give it a blow, Brian, please. A bit more, that's enough. That's fine. Come and have a look. Well, that's it there.
We're now at the end of the process, which involves fixing these glass proteins onto the final sculpture using special glass glue which cures with ultraviolet light. Wow, look at that. There we go. Look at that, little beaut. So this is the final completed artwork, and it just looks brilliant. You know, this will sit in a glass collection or a museum somewhere in the world, maybe for the next 100 years. It's a thing of beauty and quality and something we should all be proud of. Yeah, it's brilliant.